Collectively, my guest and his wife have received 8 Grammy Awards and more than a dozen nominations, as well as more than 24 Dove Awards from the Gospel Music Association. Named ASCAP's Songwriters of the Century, now I didn't say of the decade, but of the century, Bill and Gloria Gaither have written more than 700 popular songs throughout their career. Welcome, Bill Gaither, to Bott Radio Network. Bill, Merry Christmas.
Byron, I was kind of impressed with that list that you gave me there. I didn't know I was that good.
Well, if you read your website, you might discover some of these things.
Well, Merry Christmas to you. It's a great season. You know, we do our concerts all throughout the year, but every time this year, we select a few special cities to come in and say we're going to combine a night of gospel with some great Christmas favorites and have a great time. It's a great time of the year.
One of the things I'm excited about, the tour starts this weekend, and you're coming to the great state of Tennessee first in Knoxville, but we're going to be highlighting a couple of venues closer to our listening audience. Tupelo welcomes the Gaither Homecoming Christmas Spectacular at the Bancorp South Arena in Tupelo on Thursday, December 10th at 7 o'clock. And then North Little Rock welcomes the Gaither Homecoming Christmas Spectacular at the Verizon Arena in North Little Rock on Saturday, December 12th at 6 p.m. It's going to be 2 great venues, Bill. I know our listening audience are excited. We've been giving away tickets and sharing the news about the Homecoming Christmas Spectacular. People are getting excited about this.
We're always excited about coming to, now that's northern Mississippi, right?
Yeah, the birthplace of Elvis Presley. Of course, Graceland here in Memphis is where Elvis made his home for so many years. About an hour and a half from Memphis, ease drive down Highway 78 to Tupelo.
We always enjoy to come. We have been to the birthplace, so.
Nice. Hey, Bill, out of the 700 songs that we talked about just now as ASCAP Songwriters of the Century, is there one song that reflects your greatest joy as it relates to what God has accomplished in yours and Gloria's life together?
Oh, to be honest with you, it'd be hard to say that because songs are like children. They're all your babies, and I wouldn't want to say one baby was prettier than another baby. But, you know, at a given time, you know, any of them could speak to us in a special way. Now, if you're talking about other people who have sung our songs, the songs that we get the most feedback on are songs like Because He Lives, and He Touched Me, and The King Is Coming. There's something about that name. Those seem to be the songs, Something Beautiful, and on a given day it could be I Will Go On, or The Cross Made the Difference for Me, or I Believe in He'll Call Mount Calvary. They vary from time to time. Somebody will write and say one of those have been very special, but usually Because He Lives, He Touched Me is at the top of the list.
Back in 1962 when you married Gloria, and that's really when, I guess, the writing career began for the two of you.
I kid her and say that BG, before Gloria, I did write He Touched Me. Most of our big songs after that, she was involved in. And she's obviously been a very important part of my writing.
Well, you collaborated on a song together with somebody here, the late Dr. Adrian Rogers here in Memphis. You and Gloria had become friends with Dr. Adrian Rogers and his wife, Joyce. I believe there was a song you helped him with that actually became an invitational song in his ministry.
Yeah, Adrian and Joyce, wonderful, wonderful friends, and we value that friendship, yeah.
Bill, what goes into the planning and preparation to making a Homecoming Christmas Spectacular concert happen in towns like Tupelo and Little Rock?
Well, of course, we got a lot of talent to work with. I'm like a coach, and I've heard a lot of coaches when they talk about how great their career was, they always, including our local high school coach here, he just got a major award. He said, I'm only here because of some great players that I had. And that night is going to be great because we've got not only the vocal band there with David Phelps doing Oh Holy Night at the end, a lot of great Christmas stuff. And, of course, Wes Hampton is in the vocal band. He's a great singer. You'll be hearing a lot of Wes. And some good folks like that. But we've also got some wonderful singers like the Isaacs with us, and also the Nealons, Angela Perem, Charlotte Ritchie, Gene McDonald, who's from the Memphis area there, one of the greatest bass singers ever in our field. So we got a lot of great talent to make it special. So when you got that kind of wood, you ought to be able to start a fire.
Have a really hot fire, too. Hey, what's the number one thing that you want those attending your concerts to experience?
Well, you know, one of my favorite lines from A Christmas Carol is, the hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. I'm convinced that not only at Christmas time, but I think it's kind of magnified at Christmas, that our hopes are maybe at a little higher high than they are otherwise. And I'm sorry to say, I think our fears sometimes, because we're coming to the end of the year. And I hope it'll be an evening that we can put both our hopes and our fears in one basket and give it to the Lord and say, I'm not in control here. There's something bigger going on here than me and my needs. And I trust you. I think the bottom line of any of our concerts is the word trust. Many things about tomorrow we don't seem to understand, but we know who holds tomorrow, and we know who holds our hand. Ira Stampfield wrote that lyric, but it's still a great, great truth I hold on to in good times and in bad times.
Bill, you mentioned the Gaither Vocal Band. I was working at WMSO Victory 63 back in the early 80s when the Gaither Vocal Band got its start with the four guys, Gary McSpadden, Steve Green, Lee Young, and of course yourself. We were still spinning vinyl in those days. I remember playing your First Day in Heaven. What have you enjoyed most singing with the Gaither Vocal Band over all these years?
My first introduction to music, period, any kind of music, was a gospel quartet on a local station in Indianapolis. The group was called the Dixie Four. They were from Memphis, interestingly enough, but they were making their headquarters in Indianapolis for about 6 years. And I heard that harmony. I went, ooh, that is fun. How'd they do that? So I was attracted to the harmony, first of all, and to the joy that I found in those songs, and to a piano player that was a one-man band, could play all over the piano. And I just thought, I got to find out who this is. Then after I started listening to it, I started looking at the lyric and saying, hey, this is life-changing stuff, This is transformational stuff. I'm not sure if I used that word in the 6th or 7th grade, but later on I found out what it was all about. It stung me as a little kid, and I never got away from it. I loved it then, and I still love it today. It's interesting talking to secular newspaper reporters sometimes. They say, now, why are you still doing it after all these years? And I say just two reasons. Number one, I still believe in the message, and I believe the gospel is the only thing that makes sense in dark times. Secondly, I love the art form. I just love the beautiful harmony and the ability to put voices together and make it work.
There's nothing like it. Bill, sadly, you've had to say farewell to some great voices and friends like Howard and Vestal Goodman, Jake Hess, and Jesse Dixon. How have these relationships impacted you the most and helped to shape the way you do your concert tours?
Well, Jake was one of the first gospel people I ever met, and that I'm glad he was, because he still has to be, in my book, just one of the nicest human beings you could find anywhere. So to get to know them later on as people was just a lot of fun for me. Jake and Hovey and James, they were all just great, great people, Howard and Vestal. Get to know them better. George Jantz, violins, what a character he was, and just a joy to be with. I mean, what can I say? I'm blessed.
You've helped to launch the singing careers of several gospel music greats. Back in the early 1980s here in Memphis, Tennessee at the Mid-South Coliseum, that's where I was when you introduced Sandy Patty. After she sang We Shall Behold Him, I thought we were going to be transported to heaven. Now,
every night that kid would do that.
Oh, my goodness.
And somebody would say, how does that make you feel for her coming in there and stealing your show every night? And I say, my land, she's on my team.
Yeah.
So what can I say? It's great to be on the same team. And she did it every night. Every now and then we're with her again. I say, okay, you're going to sing We Shall Behold Him? I said, yeah. But we had a lot of fun with a lot of young artists. And Carmen was with us for about 2 years, and he was a delight. Don Francisco, when he introduced He's Alive, I thought, man, I never heard a song like that before.
Yeah, you're right.
So to be involved with young, talented people like that, it's been a joy for me.
What some advice do you give young artists that are traveling the road of gospel music?
To be patient, and work hard at it. You got to have a degree of talent to do anything that you do. But I'll never forget James Blackwood from right there in Memphis one time. He said, I asked him that. He said, I think the biggest thing that I usually say to them is a work ethic. And you talk about work ethics, those old quartets, Statesman, Blackwoods, the old Dixie Four, every morning getting up at 5:30, doing a 6:30 radio show because they couldn't record them then, I mean, that takes discipline. I'm not sure the young artists would sign up for that today. As Mark says, when I said, let's meet at the crack of dawn, he said, why can't we meet at the crack of noon? Okay? I think the work ethic's important. And then I think being what you are and being consistent on stage and off stage is a very important part. And so character is everything in this field. I talked to Donnie Walsh the other day, who was ahead of the Pacers for years in getting talent. Now Larry Bird's the person. But Larry said that they look for character even in professional athletes before they even look at talent. They said because if the character's bad, sooner or later it's going to show and cause you trouble.
That's a good word.
And if that is true in the secular field, it's very true in the gospel field.
Bill, when you're writing songs, do you have a certain environment or a special place that you like to be for the writing to flow for you?
No, you just take it when you get it. Sometimes it's just on the road. Sometimes it's behind the stage. I'll never forget coming in backstage at the Opry House, and Larry Gatton was back there. I said, Larry, why don't you help me write this song? I said, I got the first line. There is always a place at the table, and, you just grab it when the inspiration comes, no matter where you are.
I was doing an interview recently with Mr. Buck Trent, who traveled with Dolly Parton and Porter Wagner, and they were on a bus tour back in the 50s. And I remember Buck told me that Porter leaned over to Dolly and said, Dolly, we need a new song. So she picked up a pen and paper on the bus and wrote Coat of Many Colors in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
What are some things that you and Gloria enjoy with the grandkids during the Christmas season?
Well, just having them here, period. They were just here for Thanksgiving, and we played games from the time they stopped until they left town. In the summer, we're in the swimming pool with them. Kids love water. Any kind of activity that we can do with them, we grab it when we get them.
Does Gloria have a certain dish that's traditional for you guys this time of the year that you always enjoy?
Oh, she's a great cook, so it'd be hard to zero in on anything that she does. No matter what she does, it's going to be good. She got a great recipe for a raspberry cake we all love, and I don't need to eat too much of that. It's always fun. And her pumpkin pie can't be beat. So.
Sounds delicious. You could probably write a book on all of the humorous things that have happened while on the road. Is there one particular story that gets passed around the Gaither dinner table that gets a chuckle?
Oh, if you're talking about road stuff, I think probably Russ Taft getting under the bus in the luggage compartment to find a bag, and the door slammed shut, and he was under there for about 15 minutes. Didn't have a cell phone, so we kept saying, where's Russ? Where's Russ? And looked everywhere and finally said, he couldn't be under the bus, and he was. But thank goodness the temperature was about 45 or 50, so he was comfortable under there.
Oh, my. Bill, give Bott Radio Network listeners a special invite to the Gaither Homecoming Christmas Spectacular in either Tupelo or Little Rock.
December the 10th. In Tupelo, the Gaither Vocal Band, the Isaacs, the Nealans, and a whole bunch of more folks to make a special homecoming night in Tupelo on December the 10th, and then on the 12th in Little Rock. We got so many friends in that area, and you might even plan on coming on both of them because they're never the same. We always change them up from night to night, but we're looking forward to seeing you, my friend.
One final thing. When did the message of Jesus first become real to you?
As a kid growing up in a holiness church, I don't know how many times I went to the altar, and I think God heard me every time I went. I went and prayed. But I think it was probably when I was 19, I was with a group and wasn't living the life that I was singing about. And I can remember in Van Wert, Ohio, I wouldn't call it my salvation experience, but I called it my getting serious about serving the Lord experience. Behind a county fair building. It was an outdoor kind of building. I said, hey, I got to get serious about this. So I think God heard me every time I prayed, and I think they were all important. But I think I finally got serious when I was at the age of 19.
Life hasn't been the same since, has it?
No.
Well, let's remind our Bott Radio Network listeners in Tupelo, and also, Bill, we have listeners in Little Rock, too, by the way. You can go and hear the Gaither Homecoming Christmas Spectacular Thursday, December 10th at the Bancorp South Building in Tupelo. If you want more information, you can go to premierproductions.com. Also like to encourage our friends to visit gaither.com. There's all kinds of wonderful pictures and other information about Bill Gaither and their concerts. You can get your tickets by calling 800-745-3000 or visit Ticketmaster.com. If you would like to get special group ticket pricing, they're available too at Tupelo by calling 841-6528. And also, if you're going to attend the Little Rock concert for group special ticketing, you can call 501-975-9131. Mr. Bill Gaither, God bless you. Merry Christmas. Thank you for what you and Gloria have done for Christ's kingdom through music, sharing the love and the joy of Jesus through song all these years with us.
Byron, it's been a joy to talk with you, and we're looking forward to coming to Tupelo and Little Rock.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.